Hey there and welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, welcome to my channel and thank you so much for being here. Before I get into the video, if you are new, make sure you hit the subscribe button before you leave, and if you haven't already, make sure you hit that bell just down there to get notifications when I put new videos up. As I always mention, I try to upload 3 times a week. So you're probably already noticing from the title of this video that I am going to talk about weight loss and weight gain. I struggled a really long time with discussing this sort of stuff on my channel. I still, at the very core of it, want to make sure that I'm not really talking about weight loss or weight gain. I think that is something that is just sort of shoved upon plus-size bloggers. We are forced to discuss it. We are forced to hear comments about it. And I have heard many comments about my weight. When I was younger, had I heard these comments, it would have destroyed me, and I'm so glad I'm at a place in my life now where I don't feel as hurt when people make any comment about my weight. But anyways, sit tight, grab a snack, get comfortable, and let's get into the video. I want to start this being as authentic with you guys as possible, and I feel as much as I don't want to discuss this, as much as I don't want to have to talk about this, you guys have been making comments, you guys have been saying a lot of things about my weight lately in my most recent videos, and I feel like it is only fair to you guys to address this and not act completely ignorant to what's happening or like I don't see them. And you guys have kind of mentioned a lot lately how it looks like I've lost weight. I do not, under any circumstances, want to give you the wrong impression. I don't want you to think that I have somehow abandoned ship from my original message, or that in, you know, a few months from now I'm gonna look entirely different. I'm probably always going to be on the heavier side. That is just the reality. That's how I've always been since I was a little girl. But yes, lately I have lost some weight. I'm not pursuing a thinner body. And I feel like I want to say this too because there is also a lot of talk about how all fat bodies are not necessarily unhealthy. As I got older, as, you know, my body started changing, other things about me started changing, that I had fatty liver disease. Fatty liver disease is something that you see in a lot of people who have drinking problems, but I genuinely don't drink that much. I had a great doctor who made sure in every possible way that this was related to my weight. If she genuinely knows that this is the cause of it, if I genuinely am one of those people that now I'm unhealthy as a cause of my weight, then for myself, for me, I'm gonna do something about it. I didn't want you guys to feel like in any possible way that I was kind of abandoning my original message, as I've mentioned many times. When I heard that, as I'm sure you can guess, for myself, I needed to make a decision, and it was never an issue of I need to be a thin person now. It was more so, let's figure out what is a comfortable weight for my body. And it was not even much weight I needed to shed. I'm still very fat, but last time I went to the doctor, I don't have fatty liver disease anymore. I'm in the clear and I feel very good about that. But with that being said, I still feel like I need to talk about certain things when it comes to weight loss and weight gain. I had gained about 5 pounds, and I had gone to the doctor and she decided to weigh me that time, and I didn't think anything about it. And this was post her telling me I was in the clear. And she made a huge deal about me gaining 5 pounds. And it made me feel like that I was a failure, that I was unattractive, that I was all these things that I had not felt about my body in a really long time. When I left the doctor that day, something changed in me, something was different, and for the first time in a really long time, I felt shame over my body. I felt ashamed, I felt embarrassed, I felt like a failure, I felt unattractive, I felt so many negative things, and from that point on, I had become obsessive with this number, 250. I have to get to 250. That's when I was praised. That's when I was, you know, her star patient. That's when people were saying this and that and all these positive things about me. I have to get back to 250. And months later, I realized what was happening. I was developing an obsession again. In my opinion, now that I look at it, it is so ridiculous to be obsessed with that. When I realized what was happening, when I realized that suddenly I went from being somebody who loved myself at the size I was to somebody who hated myself, you know, I felt very unattractive. I suddenly felt very insecure about myself in ways I hadn't before. And that's when I realized I needed to get more in touch with my body positivity. I needed to stop weighing myself, because at that point too, I was weighing myself pretty much once a week. I needed to be kinder to myself. This is why I've struggled for so long to address this, because I genuinely don't want any praise for losing weight. I genuinely don't want any comments about my weight, because the reality is bodies will change. That 1 month I might be one number and the next I'm gonna be another, whether that's lower or higher. And hearing the praise of people when I had lost weight or whatever, when I had gained those 5 pounds, the only thing I could think of was, I'm embarrassed to see these people again. They were so vocal about how fat I was before, how much thinner I look in comparison, that I can only imagine what they're going to say to me now. It really made me feel like I wanted to just isolate myself from people until I could get my stuff straight, until I could be back to that magic number. That's when I realized that I had to quit it. I had to stop. I had to re-examine what I was doing to myself. I was putting this number on a pedestal and who I was at this number at a pedestal, and I really had to make sure that I was not treating myself like this anymore. Honestly, as much as I can sit here and make calls for you guys and do stuff like that for you guys, I want you to feel like you know me. I want you to feel like you're getting the genuine, authentic version of me. It is... Why do I feel like I'm gonna cry? I really like my makeup today. Don't do this, Sarah. But I feel like I need to be authentic and honest with you guys that I've been struggling. And I'm happy to say for the most part that that struggle is not as intense as it was, and that I'm slowly finding my way back. I didn't know what to do. For the first time in a long time, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know who to turn to. I didn't know who to admit this to, because I had built myself up to be this really confident, really body positive person, and it scared me that I wasn't that anymore, because I felt like a fraud. To be honest, I felt like a massive fraud to all of you guys. I felt like nervous to even come on here and say anything about confidence, because I didn't know what that looked like for me anymore. And to accept that about myself, to accept that I wasn't that super confident person in that moment, was huge. It was really huge, and it was really painful, and it was scary, because I had worked so hard to be that person. But I had to remind myself that, like bodies, I am going to change, and it is okay to be vulnerable or sensitive or fall a few feet behind and figure out your path again. And that's what I've been trying to do, and I have a lot more positive days than I do negative. I mean, today I feel pretty good. I feel very good in my body. I just felt like I owed it to you guys to have this conversation, and I am genuinely very nervous about talking about this. I don't want you guys to feel like I let you down, and I don't want you guys to feel like I've abandoned a message that is so important to so many of you. Come on. The most incredible thing I ever did for myself was loving who I am. And if that's a person at 300 pounds or 150 pounds, I will always be determined to love myself, healthy or unhealthy, fat or skinny. But right now, where I'm at is where I need to be, and it has taken a lot of work to be back at a place where I love myself. And I'm not crying because I don't. I'm crying because I am genuinely really nervous about telling you guys this, about having this conversation. But I've learned like 2 years ago that I had fatty liver disease, and I put it off for 2 years, and as I see the comments, you know, come up more and more, I feel like I'm lying to you guys. I feel like I'm not being honest, and I don't want you guys to feel like I'm not. So with that being said, I just want to remind you guys that what I've learned in the last year is that your body will change. You will gain and you will lose, and you will be fatter than you want to be, and then you will praise yourself for being skinnier. And the most important thing you can do is accepting and loving yourself wherever you are. Even in my youth, I had lost all of this weight, an incredibly large number, somewhere like 100 pounds. And I was skinnier than I ever thought I would ever be, but I was also the most unhappy and depressed I had ever been, because I was so fixated on how people treated me at that size and being terrified that I wouldn't be that size anymore one day. And guess what? I wasn't, because the reality is restricting myself to eating something that is not maintainable by any means will eventually become something you can't do anymore. And your body's going to change, and it is important to make sure that internally you are treating yourself with kindness and care and compassion as you would a best friend, because it is extremely hard sometimes, because I can give you guys all the love I have, all the love I have in the world, and all the kindness I have in the world, but sometimes it's really hard to do that to yourself, and it is really hard to remind yourself that you deserve some of that too. So I'm gonna stop being a baby. I'm pretty sure I'm getting my period in a few days. I genuinely hope you guys enjoyed this video and you don't feel like I've done anything to abandon you, because I haven't. I'm still here. I'm still fighting the good fight with you. Can I even say my outro right now when I'm crying? Is that even a possibility? God, I'm really glad I took my thumbnail before I started this. Anyways, you guys, I think that is enough. I have blabbered on long enough, and just know that I love you guys, and I will always do my best to be authentic with you guys and share where I'm at, because I think that is super important when talking about confidence and self-love. Don't forget you can find new videos from me every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, and new blog posts every Tuesday and Thursday, and I'll see you next time. Bye.